And welcome back to Anticorp videos. I'll admit, first off, Captain America, we haven't done him yet. I think I might have made a bit of a mix-up on the order which the suggestions came in. But either way, I know Luke Morehouse gave me a suggestion, and I thought Trenton the Skeleton had too, but from what I could tell, maybe you didn't. Either way, I thought there was more than one suggestion for it. But either way, yeah, at least Luke Morehouse did. I think maybe Wade Wilson. I can't remember. Point being, it's one of you guys, one of you three. I know Luke Morehouse definitely did, but I could have sworn there was another one. So anyway, three shots to you guys. If not, hey, how you doing? But Captain America, it's surprising we haven't gotten around to talking about Captain America yet. That's probably because I take this by request, and he just hadn't come up yet. But yeah, I mean, Captain America is a very important figure, both the MCU and the Marvel universe in general. First super soldier. And, icon America, standing for truth, justice, American way, all that. His ideologies, protecting people when it's right. That's who Captain America is. So the question then becomes, what Anticorp does he belong in? And let's get one of the obvious ones right out of the way first, before we'll talk about the one I actually think he really belongs in. Green. I think Green is a very strong candidate. Laura, you have to have a great amount of will. Plus, you need to have the ability to overcome great fear. Steve has done both of these, especially in his younger days. So we know he's a leader. We know he's got an amazing willpower. We know he'll stand up against Thanos face-to-face, mano-a-mano, both in the comics and in the movies, while not standing a chance in an actual fight with the guy. So we know that he could be a very good candidate for a Green Lantern ring. But let's talk about a couple of ones we know he won't qualify for, or we don't think he will at any point. He's not a Lantern of Rage. Just does not work. He can get angry, sure, and he's use that anger to help him, but he's not driven by rage. He's not a Rage Lantern. But he's also not a Lantern of Avarice. He's never been greedy. Has he been a little what's the best way to put it? Has he been a little single-minded? Yes, but that's hardly the same as Avarice. So that doesn't count here. And Black is not a Anticorp I think he would qualify for. I do not think he is a very good candidate for Black. Because, yes, there was an incident where he died, but it turns out that wasn't the case. I first off don't know if he has actually died. Most Marvel characters have died at some point. I actually don't know if Cap, taking Elsewhere stories out of the equation, let's be very clear here, Elsewhere stories do not count. We're talking about just the main 616 timeline. It's difficult to say whether or not I can say Cap's died before. There's always so many ways to, get your youth back and all that stuff. I mean, he didn't die when he went into the ice. He went into basically like a coma, but he was alive. So, yeah. I also don't think he's a White Lantern, though. I do not believe he's a White Lantern just due to the fact that, yes, he's alive, but as a soldier, he did have to take lives. He did have to kill. Now, he does his best not to do that, but he won't. If he has to, he'll take the bad guy's life. He won't take a life of an innocent, but he'll do it. But the fact is, he is older than how he seems. He's well over, I think, like 100 years old. He does stand to protect life and people in general, so it's not impossible for him to be a White Lantern. I just don't think it works out very well in his favor. And he's not someone who really goes out and lives his life to the fullest. That's the other thing, too. You have to embrace life. You have to, like when I think Dead Man had that, he rode a roller coaster just to have the thrill of being alive again. So, yeah, I don't think that works in his favor. But another one that I think he qualifies for is the Anticorp of Compassion. Steve Rogers is a very compassionate guy. He's someone who looks out for the little guy as well as tries to see both sides of the issue. I mean, Civil War is an example of where the compassion just wasn't heard. But he is someone who tries to see both sides and feels genuine remorse when something bad happens to innocents. Steve Rogers' compassion is one of his most defining traits. And I think it really could lend himself to being a Indigo Lantern. If it wasn't for the one I think he definitely qualifies for. But yeah, I mean, his will, his compassion, and the thing we're going to talk about in a little bit are all really strong. That said, I will say his will, I think, overshines his compassion, I think, a little bit. That, or they're kind of neck and neck. But the next one overshadows both. But before we get to the next one, let's talk about the remaining two I don't think he qualifies for. Love doesn't work. He's not a Star Sapphire, not because he hasn't been in love or can't feel love. It's just because it's not the thing that dominates him or drives him. He doesn't have lust like that. He doesn't, have, romantic feeling. He doesn't do anything he does out of love. He does it out of duty and just a wanting to help. And the last one to talk about that he's not is the Yellow Lantern Corps. Now, this one's a bit of a trickier one. Cap is kind of like a lot of the heroes on the Avengers per se. Like Black Widow, like a Hawkeye, like an Iron Man. There are people that are afraid of them because of who they are and what they've done and the reputation that carries. But that is not the same as being a fear lantern, because most heroes have those adversaries like that. It's the heroes or the characters that use fear, that inspire fear. Batman is could be a textbook. Hell, Sinestro even said, you make a great Yellow Lantern. Scarecrow uses fear. Daredevil would be a man that is someone who uses fear. Moon Knight, Punisher. These are the types of characters that truly inspire fear and dread. Whereas Cap I'm sure Cap would definitely scares individuals, but he's not someone who is a good candidate, in my opinion, for a Yellow Lantern ring. Even if he had it, he wouldn't use it. So that leaves the last one, and it's the obvious one I left out, but hope. Steve Rogers is the embodiment of hope. You look at the MCU, he was the crux. He was the one who held the group together and kept hope burning. If we just look at the MCU, even in Endgame, where it's like, you got to move on. But he's like, nope, he still wasn't holding out hope. He still wasn't losing hope. He still was holding on for something, and ultimately Scott came. And they had that hope. And then he gives the speech. He's like, this is a fighter. I was like, wow, he's really good at that. Yeah, I know, right? And then, of course, you go into, like, the actual Marvel, like, main universe, and most versions of it. Steve Rogers is the leader of the Avengers for a reason. Not only does he command respect, but he inspires hope. He doesn't inspire hope in just the Avengers. He inspires hope in people. When you look at, again, let's go back to the movies. The movies are just a good example of this. When you look at Captain America's legacy, it's a legacy. I mean, we learn in Falcon and Winter Soldier, there's some tainted, that legacy is tainted quite a bit. But the overall legacy of Steve Rogers is a legacy of hope and inspiration. You see these kids playing the shield. I actually, that's a scene that doesn't get brought up in Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think, a lot. It gets brought up that they were playing the shield, but the fact is, they are having shield, and they're playing with the shield like the kids would do back in, like, the 40s and things like that, being inspired by Captain America. Because even in his alleged death, Steve inspired hope, and he inspired people. And plus, it goes with his suit. Come on, red, white, and blue. Come on. But ultimately, it's like Steve Rogers to me is almost like the textbook, the poster child, Blue Lantern. Ultimately, he's a Blue Lantern to me. No questions asked. If you just tell me, right, if you were to look at me on the street and say, okay, Lantern Corps, which Lantern Corps is Steve Rogers, Captain America? Blue Lantern. Right off the bat. Now, that being said, he could still be a Green Lantern, and he might be able to hold both of those rings, because they're one of the few ring combinations that can be worked in tandem, and in fact, actually complement and enhance each other. So in theory, he could be both a Blue and a Green Lantern. But if you're singling out just a single Corps, it's Blue, the Lantern Corps of Hope for Steve Rogers. So that is Captain America, Steve Rogers, Lantern Corps. But that is just my opinion. What do you ultimately think? Put in the comments below and let me know. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I've got something in my eye. I apologize. If you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. I got the What If I got to record today for tomorrow. Thursday's going to be interesting. I'm going to try to do a Pokemon video to get the next top 10 video up. But because I had the Monday off, I actually have to work my normal Thursday off. But I'll get something done. Plus, there will be reviews up for The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and Spirit Untamed. Whenever I get around to seeing that, it'll probably be. Actually, I should check the show times because I haven't checked the show times yet for Thursday. If there's no showing for one of them, obviously there'll be a showing for Conjuring. But if there's no showing for Spirit, then obviously that I won't see it that day. I'll see it later on. Whew. I'm almost kind of wishing my theater doesn't have it. Because, I mean, it's getting a widescreen release. Doesn't mean it's going to be in every screen. It's probably going to have it. That'll be my luck. Anyway, I digress. Hit that bell to be notified. I'll see you folks next time. Later.